being in the death spot right now at that 8th position, but Pain could be there by the end of this season.
So many possibilities in just 2 play days.
It's unlikely, but they could find themselves there. So, here we go. Match going to load in. It's going to be the basement for the first bomb site for Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Oh, they switched it up to gym bedroom even.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Okay.
Getting tricky.
So we're going all over the place.
All right, well, at least we know that now. So one step farther. Of course, bans are still the same as they were. They do not change. See how they're going to play this, though. So let's see here. We do have at least the Lion and Echo banned out by Ninjas in Pyjamas, and that will, I imagine, factor into their defense a little bit. They won't be able to play with that Echo, but they will still be able to play with Mirror Smoke Maestro, plenty of delay, and then they'll 6-pick over to the Bandit. So C4 probably in hand either way, but now batteries instead of cameras. That will be helpful, of course, in stopping that jacuzzi wall from being opened. They do not, and they do have a Thatcher, so I can't imagine that's going to stop them for long, especially if any pressure could be put on that gym window.
Interesting that they're going to 6-pick into the Bandit. I get that they want to Bandit trick some walls, and there's some good ones you can do on this site. Better ones on server, but
I mean, you can still Bandit trick the server ones if you want to.
Yeah, definitely something you could do, and it looks like Nip is going to be playing over by server and cash room, so there you go. Maybe that's what their plan is. But
I mean, that makes sense because you could set up the batteries on jacuzzi wall, not worry about them too much, which is good because there's the Thatcher anyways. You're not going to, it's going to take up a lot of time to trick that, and it's very difficult, as opposed to just, you know, set up some batteries over there and then try and trick the other wall to deny them flank.
Certainly. So, Ninjas in Pyjamas going to gym first. You know, this is a site that has been all over the place. I think initially people dismissed it because it used to be the worst site in the game. Then they realized that it was the best site because you could impact trick. Then the impact tricking got taken away from the jacuzzi wall, and it's gone all over the place. A bit of a roller coaster of a bomb site. But it has found itself in a nice, comfortable, balanced position compared to the other bomb sites on this map lately.
And that's something you don't ever really get to see on this defense, is that window set up facing the jacuzzi wall, knowing the jacuzzi wall will not stay up forever. You want to be able to do something about anyone trying to pressure in through it, which is a very common thing to happen. So I like that idea. And this is, you mentioned the impact tricky thing. This is the only example I think we have of impact tricking going the other way, you know, being taken away from a bomb site, as it's become so prevalent everywhere else, and it's still available on many of the other spots on this map here.
Yeah, I mean, the real problem with the jacuzzi wall was that it was a one-way affair.
Yeah.
The impact tricking was available to the defense, but you couldn't counter it by throwing grenades in the opposite direction because of that little metal sheet.
Yeah.
Then they fixed that problem. Instead of making it open, they just closed it entirely for both teams.
Just said good night, and in doing so, they made it not as favorable of a bomb site anymore. But as we said, with some of the bans going the way they did, they still are able to play it in an interesting way, and they are going to try and at least lock out a push from server side if possible. And you actually have Psycho playing downstairs on the Bandit, I believe.
Yeah, he's just looking to go for a late flank, I'm sure, as he set himself up in Adam's spot. Or the top of blue hallway stairs, if you want to refer to it that way. Storage room, maybe.
Adam.
PZD playing some aggressive angles in the bomb site, and he's not going to expose himself to anybody because there's no one holding those angles, but he could potentially moving forward.
Yeah, we did hear a window get popped, so hopefully for their sake it's not the one facing that jacuzzi wall from bathroom, but Psycho making his flank count.
Yeah, from behind he will take down FK1, the Habana, which is some of the hard destruction now eliminated for Pain, but more importantly, they're going to have to reassess their flank hold and move GCR off a push through the door to site into a flank hold position. Kamikaze peeking aggressively into the open wall towards Jacuzzi, and he will take out 9XT. So Ninjas in Pyjamas looking really good in this round so far, and Pain, on the other hand, really feeling it as they come down to the last 40 seconds.
Ooh, nice flank again by Psycho. That's 2. Taken off, both hard breachers gone. Job at least somewhat done by them. But this is a tough position to be able to work their way out from, especially when that grenade's not even going to get thrown. But Revolt's at least trading 1. Doesn't matter. Kamikaze finishes it. Defenders, like you said, looking really good for Nip there. Starting off with a nice surprise for Pain, who were probably going into this match a little confident.
Excellent gunplay from Kamikaze, and a big part of why Nip were able to win that round, but also the well-timed flank that we saw happen earlier from the Bandit. So well done to Ninjas in Pyjamas overall. A nice hold, and they will go to the basement now.
Yeah, I'm not sure the 6th picking to the Bandit even really made that much difference unless he was that much more comfortable on the gun. Because it was a situation where I don't think the batteries really did a ton for them when they had the Thatcher anyways.
No.
And he was playing, you know, a far off position where he couldn't be doing any tricking. But either way, though, he made his gun absolutely work along with his sneaky 3-speed. I suppose that's the difference, right? Is he had 3-speed versus 2,
I mean, the setup from Nip was kind of interesting because they had those shield. Not only, oh, he 6-picked onto Bandit. Not only was the shield put up and the Bandit batteries replaced, but you could have brought a Valkyrie. The shield didn't really do anything because you're not trying to trick. It was just kind of a confusing setup.
No, they just really won a lot of gunfights in the 2 flanks by Psycho. Made a huge difference, not to mention the Maestro peeking out onto the Thermite.
It was just a good work between Kamikaze and Psycho, and that's really all it comes down to, winning your fights.
Well, it could just be a case where they're not warmed up too much yet on the Pain side. But that was a nice surprise in an uncommon bomb site, so that might have caught them off guard. This is going to be a bit more conventional, even somewhat conventional windows being set up, because, well, like you said, there's only so many places to put them.
Yeah, and that's why you see some teams that'll even practice without Mira, and when she's not banned, still not play her. Well, she is predictable, if anything. So, Pain have opted to bring both of the hard destructors that would most aid them on this bomb site. There's no Maverick, but he's not essential here. He's very powerful, though. You know, there's so much utility you get from other operators. It's sometimes just not a good option.
No, better to bring the double hard breacher. I mean, maybe it might be a different case had he kept his smokes. Might have been a situation where you might want to consider replacing one of the hard breachers with him. But yeah, absolutely. This is a mainstay of Latin America, is bringing both of them, especially if neither are banned, of course. So
a hard destructor with smokes is a fearsome prospect.
It certainly is. I remember with Thermite with grenades as well was an interesting one back in the day.
Smokes and grenades, 2 of the most sought-after projectiles for the attack, and giving them to someone who has hard destruction. Oh.
Yeah, flashbangs are mostly used to burn ADS at this point, but Kamikaze just barely spotting the tip of the head there. The shark fin not sticking up at the moment to give him away. GCR, though, somehow getting away with this.
Yeah, he will push in after missing his nade. He did a little bit of damage to Kamikaze, but he was able to slip away through that bathroom rotation, though. It doesn't look like Kamikaze's ready for this. The mark's coming out. The pre-fire from GCR will miss, though, and the Legion attempts the fight. It's an even exchange thus far, and Legion will win it out. Kamikaze, well played inside of Jim. GCR, despite having the advantage in almost every sense, will lose the fight. And FK1 unable to get that refrag in the immediate because of well-placed Legion traps and a well-timed fall back. Kamikaze going to play inside of the bathroom looking for another potential kill.
Definitely could be a good one here as well. Being low on health here, though, should win this fight, but having to use the pistol, nice flank there from FK1, though. That's going to shut that down. Give them more time here to make this push. Now they're going to start opening hatches, but a minute left. And at least they have map control of the top 2 floors.
And they're going to start opening up those drop downs. And because they have an abundance of hard destruction, they can open pretty much anything they want. They can open the drop downs and the church wall. They have choices. Psycho in the game-winning position, but will he be successful? No!
Whoa!
9XT, the game sense, hearing the loud footsteps from the metal by pool table, will give away that bandit, and 9XT, a huge kill for his team.
Yeah, Psycho was in a position to get 2, maybe 3 kills had he been able to play with enough intelligence on it, and there might have even been cameras from PZD. So far, though, this is looking like a much better round for Pain, not just the man advantage, but just winning gunfights that are being a bit more difficult for them outside of GCR's lost gunfight upstairs.
Julio attempting to hold the push from Moto. There's so little time left. The C4 from Valkyrie to try and deny the plan, and it will be successful. FK1 takes out Julio. It's still anyone's round, but WAG is able to deny the defuse plant once more, and Ninjas in Pyjamas will take the round on time.
Definitely a situation where you really thought Pain should have been able to win that. Time management is a difficult thing, especially when you're having trouble taking those top 2 floors. I'm sure they missed the days when you didn't have roamers upstairs on church, but those days potentially gone. We will see Cash, though, being their 3rd bomb site. What is many times a primary bomb site. Maverick, though, going to get teased if not played. Might be a 6th pick there for GCR, actually, to sneak that in. Now that would be all 3 hard breachers in, which would be interesting to see, as that's pretty rare coming out from any team, but so far not going for it yet.
The attack from Pain there was quite interesting. The most notable thing, though, is that Nip were able to delay for so friggin' long.
Kamikaze a big part of that.
Yeah, Kamikaze definitely a big part of that. Psycho as well. As much as he didn't actually manage to get any kills, he did distract and delay for a decent amount of time. And that's the important thing. And that's how Nip managed to get the win. They delayed for so much time.
Well, that's what that bomb site's all about, right? Of all the bomb sites especially, it's just about turtling down there most of the time, but the two roamers absolutely making that turtle much more effective.
Yeah. So, Ninjas in Pyjamas now going to go to the third bomb site after being successful on both gym and the basement. They have to go somewhere different. The only site that we don't really see played with any reliability is the bar.
Yeah.
So that's likely to be ignored for both teams.
That's always been the non-preferential bomb site. Back when there was only 2 bomb sites you had to play, that was the short stick most of the time, and still the short stick here.
Well,
situation.
I mean, it was the short. It was the secondary bomb site.
It was the short stick that got played.
Yeah, you had to play it because the other options were just a no-go.
Yeah. Well, now we see them being somewhat successful, so it's fantastic to see that.
Yep.
We are seeing, this is a good site for Maestro, so Kamikaze is definitely going to be in a good position here. But of course, this crack, always, I'd say this is one of the most important cracks in the map altogether. But again, the window's getting popped here. That might have actually been intentional because Psycho was in the right position, had it lined up. So good play if that was.
That's just a little bit of laziness on 9XT's part, and it will cost him his life. And not only did it cost him his life, but it will cost his team greatly, as he was playing Thermite, one of the most important operators on this site. Habana's still in play, but Sledge isn't going to be any longer as Kamikaze just peeks into GCR, so the nade's no longer going to be available to the attack. FK1 will open up a single chunk of this wall using all of his Excaros already. I mean, it's likely that's a vaultable wall, but it's such a small bottleneck, and in this situation, it does not seem to be something Pain will be able to use.
This is getting close to unwinnable, especially if the wall into construction connector is reinforced. It leaves you having to fight doorways and choke points, like you said. It is a tough spot to be in. They've also got the windows. I mean, unless they can win a staggering amount of gunfights here, Pain pretty much locked out of the bomb site.
Yeah, well done to Ninjas in Pyjamas, already making this look like a dominant round. They have been just that so far in this match, dominant. And Kamikaze's going to get another one. On to FK, just peeking, hearing his opponent break that barbed wire and deciding that he is not allowed to play in this round anymore. Well, Pain are looking for something, some sort of thread to start pulling on, but they cannot seem to find it. Every single push they make is met with even more failure.
Yeah, outside of the smokes, they don't have much utility left to work with either, and then not much health at the moment here for Revolts as well.
PZD just playing the scenario as passively as possible. He knows he doesn't need to get the kill because Kamikaze will get the kill, vaulting through his opponent's made hole before Psycho is able to get the final frag. Ninjas in Pyjamas, perfect round if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and definitely a lot of credit, I'd say, for a lot of these rounds going over to Kamikaze and Psycho. I mean, not all to them. There's definitely teamwork involved in the kills they're getting and the way it's working. But overall, it's been working out fairly well for those two, despite you know, him dying from that flank from Strip Club last time. Still, just those two, they need to start getting shut down if Pain want to be in this.
And even if they do get shut down, the level of talent on Nip, I mean, it could be anyone who to step in and fill those shoes.
Well, those who were doubting Nip so far looking like it's starting to swing very heavily in their way. 3 rounds up now. They have to start recycling the bomb sites as they've won all 3 of them. So Psycho finally 6-picking something different over to the Mute. Still going to have probably a C4. Still going to be able to deny some walls, but a slightly different style and a little bit of slower pace of play.
Yeah. T1 need the points, or sorry, pardon me, Pain need the points.
Team 1 do need the points too.
Well, yeah, well, honestly they do, yeah. That's kind of the point I'm trying to make here. All of the teams that we've seen play so far today, T1, Black Dragons, Pain, Nip, they all need the points the same amount.
Hungry for points.
Because almost, I believe, most of them can still be relegated.
Could you imagine if every match was a tie today? How much that would frustrate everything?
Yeah, that would be real bad.
Like, basically almost nothing would change then.
Yeah, so Nip are fighting a lot fiercer right now for this victory, it seems. Pain are definitely putting up a tussle, but it seems to be a struggle that's not really working out great for them.
One thing I like about the change-up and bringing Psycho on the mute is now he gets to jam the same walls in the same way that's probably just going to be disposed of by the Thatcher. But they didn't bring the Thatcher, so it's dependent on the Twitch instead. And now he has extra ones to deny some drone play, which in itself may help deny revolts. You saw one, for example, on the doorway coming into bedroom from the constructor connection. And that's one that's you're not going to be able to just jump over. Obviously, you can't sneak the Twitch drone around it, probably not an angle you can even get it from. So it's going to deny potentially even taking out some of those walls.
I really like how assertive you could see Pain being right now, just pushing into Garage, following up their drones. And that's going to force PZD. As he hears the vault from Garage, he knows that it's a bad challenge, and he'll fall all the way back to Connector in construction. Good call there. A lot of ground lost, but he will make Pain suffer for it as he takes out FK1, the Habana. So lots of hard destruction just whisked away there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, GCR has not had a good track record with his entries as well. I mean, he's still alive at the moment, but it's just not been working out very well. At least some map control in their favor, though, and they are playing around from some different angles, which could work out for them.
This is tricky. 9XT can't open the jacuzzi wall because, oh no, there's no Thatcher, and Revolts is busy elsewhere. So this is a situation where 9XT is just going to be sitting on this balcony for the foreseeable future until somebody
that mute jammer
changes the situation with the mute jammer.
That's the one I was talking about as well. It did exactly what I said it would, and that was the change-up that they made on Psycho. Absolutely paid off.
Great job to Nip for seeing this situation. Although I gotta say, credit to Pain as well for shooting themselves in the foot, not bringing a Thatcher when they knew it was going to be a gym defense.
Yeah, and unfortunately that Evil Eye as well, even denying his one entry point he had there. So far, GCR's only job is being able to open up things at the moment. Gunfight's not his forte, but at least there's still 4 left alive in 45 seconds, but they're going to have to push this on gunfights and use that smoke to their advantage.
Random smoke that doesn't seem to accomplish much of anything means that Spawns will only have one to cut off the visual between sites. The nade from GCR will miss, so utility not eaten up for Pain. C4 will also miss, though, for Nip, so it's a nice and even exchange. Though the defenders are in a much better spot given an even exchange. Pain really needs an advantage right now, and they are not being given one. As PZD takes down 9XT, Kamikaze will also take out GCR. The last 2 attackers will be forcing their way up the main stairs, and Revolt's an excellent shot onto the Jaeger, getting a little too aggressive. Psycho at the top of the stairs, though, doing a lot of work. Spawns cannot fight so many opponents, and Ninja Pyjamas will take their 4th round in a row.
I definitely worry for the mentality of Pain coming into this at this point, 4 rounds in, because it's just been frustration after frustration. That's not getting better, it's getting worse.
Yeah. As
you saw from that round, good adaptations by Nip on their 2nd go-round on Jim, just dominating it at that time as much as they did with Cash, and it's looking like a struggle for Pain to really start to feel like they can get some kind of advantage. Like you said, though, they did push a little more aggressively, which was good. That showed that they weren't just kind of whimpering down and playing super passive on their attacks, which would be terrible, as you saw when it comes to time management as it was. But just the utility usage has been much better, and the gunfight being won by Nip. Church, for the 2nd time around now, again, we will see one adaptation. Now they're going to bring the castle instead of Goo Mines.
Legion, universally useful. Castle, very specific in his use. Yeah. So, interesting change there for Nip. We'll see what they choose to do with those barricades. And it's always nice to have a new setup to work with on these sides.
Nice to see that GCR is going to go with the Buck instead of the Sledge, as Sledge just doesn't seem to be working out for him so much so far. But again, going with the double hard breachers. For having double hard breachers, they're not having a lot of success opening things up, it seems like. Usually one of the 2 dying fairly early or being denied utility. Just, it's been a struggle. Look at that. Just between those 4 rounds, that's what, 5 kills?
And we've got 3 players still with 0 kills between both teams.
I mean, I know we like to say kills are not everything, but they certainly are everything for Nip at the moment in terms of just denying.
The strategy from Nip has also been very solid.
Sure.
Pain a few hiccups here and there as well. So it's all just kind of going Nip's way right now.
Yeah, this is, I mean, we talked about how important of a match this is for them. Being at 4-0 in this situation right here makes it so much more likely they are going to potentially get themselves out of the danger zone here in this matchup, because Pain coming back 4 rounds in a row with the way they've been just, I don't know, stumbling along, they're going to have to really switch things up pretty heavy on defense to bring this back.
Yeah.
We'll see, though. There is still one Castle Barricade left. They may or may not need it, but he's just going to go on that roam.
Yeah, just looking for something to happen upstairs. Doesn't seem like Castle was too much of an influential pick. He still has a armored panel, which is kind of odd.
In case he needs a temporary mattress to just relax on, I suppose.
Or maybe a fast action barricade, but I mean, it's a dangerous thing, and he's just gonna die.
Doesn't matter now, I guess.
Rotation cut off by spawns. Well done to him. A very confusing operator pick, and a confusing way of playing Castle.
Yeah, well, at least a minute's still being burned, and the fact that they saw one roamer means there's a chance that will be more. Wag here going to be playing the usual smoke roll. So everything else kind of going back to default now that Castle's out of here.
Yeah. Castle's not a bad operator. I'm just not sure what they were trying to do with them there. Well, I guess we'll maybe see moving forward. I don't even know where the barricades are right this second. Though, Pain have managed to take control of the top floors here, and that is something that they have struggled with in the past. The fact that it has been allowed here is going to hurt Nip just a little bit. C4 will miss from Julio, and that's a lot of utility not really used great there by the Mira. And interestingly, they were actually going to have the kitchen drop down opened up. So
yeah,
there you go. A good advantage to have.
Upside as well, not only do they have all 5 alive, they have things open, they have hard breachers, they have vertical destruction. They also have a Dokkaebi to help control any late game roams that might come up, say, from those blue stairs.
NXT will also take down PZD, so this is the best round we've seen so far from Pain, and it comes in their very last attacking round. They really do need this, no matter how you look at it. Lots of pressure being applied here vertically through the kitchen holes and drop down. That's all thanks to, of course, the Castle not being in a position to impact trick that drop, as he was roaming upstairs inexplicably. Psycho playing behind the minibar of A, and he's not feeling a lot of pressure right now. It seems to be mostly an Arsenal push here from the attackers, but they're going to have to step it up. There's only 20 seconds left. Wag will be taken down because of the buzz in his pocket. Well done to 9XT, and Dokkaebi going to lay down those smokes. Psycho will see through the guys, though, and he will take out 9XT on the drop. The grenade well placed to cut off Julio's rotation, forcing him into a bad position. Psycho's still in play, but FK doing work, managing to get a kill on the rotation. Psycho's position well known to his opponents, but the same is also true for Psycho onto his opponents. And you see inside of Arsenal, he is getting a multitude of marks, but it's not going to matter, as FK1 will shut him down. A nice attack onto the Arsenal for Pain, and their very first round.
And a very good one. I mean, we saw them actually with a fairly dominant attack the first time on Church. It was time management that killed them. Almost the same thing this round. Despite the dominance, if they hadn't been able to get that plant down as fast as they were able to after losing the first attempted planter, dropping and getting killed by Maestro, that could have been a repeat of, yeah, you have the people left, it doesn't matter if you don't get the plant down. So that kill on the Wag happening when it did, that made all the difference in them actually being able to succeed in it, because Wag just being able to hold that angle as long as he was completely denying any attempt to drop that hatch and plant. And that is, of course, the problem with dropping hatch for plants is, well, it is pretty much the definition of a bottleneck. We will see, though, things change around. Of course, now they're changing sides. And Psycho on Glass is something that is very, very much to be feared, I would say, for most teams.
Psycho on Glass is a well-known tool of destruction. And especially, I think he actually made his name known on Glass, specifically on Clubhouse Basement Attack.
Yeah.
Because seeing Psycho come out of the construction tunnel and just shredding people pushing into Arsenal it's a memory.
Yeah.
It's a fond memory, and I'm sure it's a tool that Nip are going to try to use the best of their ability in this round. Or, you know, push him from Moto. Honestly, you can't really go wrong.
Yep.
Glaz pushing into the basement, he's got a lot of options.
Well, the nice thing as well is they brought the Habitat with him. That's going to give him the ability to, regardless of any kind of Jaeger play, be able to get those smokes down. And so let's say the pressure comes down to the end, they still have them both left alive and haven't burned the ADSs. That will give him a nice advantage in making that push happen. So, I mean, they've got a lot of utility to make this work here. It's all on whether or not they can continue to play as well as they've been playing before. Pain, though, at least going into the side switch with some confidence, having won that last round.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's on the opposite side. They're now defending it, but still, seemingly the place they're most comfortable. Now, Ninjas in Pyjamas haven't committed themselves to anything quite yet, and rightfully so. On a basement attack, you do really need to feel out your opponents before you actually choose where you're going to attack from. There does seem to be an actual, you know, a lack of defense by Blue. You could see that FK1, I believe it is, playing on the blue stairs, but that's it. And he will fall all the way back to the actual blue room itself.
Yeah, once control happens on those blue stairs, very often you're pretty much locked out of being able to push back up for any rotates. But if only one person controls blue stairs and they can get taken down, you can make those rotates happen. And a Claymore like PZD put down on the ladder, not as important as it used to be in that sense. They are still rotating around, though, but they've got hatches open. They've still got a minute 50 left to make this happen. It's still looking very good for Ninjas in Pyjamas, especially, as you mentioned, they pushed that Jaeger back.
I might be mistaken, but I thought I just heard the Glaz open up the stock drop down with his rifle.
Oh,
so that might have been a little bit of mistake there from the defense, allowing for Nip to get an easy drop open.
Yeah, definitely a more important hatch, as you were mentioning earlier, than it used to be. Certainly a good one to have open here, and unfortunately, hanging out inside dirt isn't going to do you a ton of good when they've got a Glass to be able to push in there on you.
Slow going here for both teams. Spawn's still trying to impact trick that kitchen drop down for as long as he can. And he will be successful thus far, though Nip doesn't seem keen on pushing that particular angle. Spawn's so close to death, but also so close to a kill of his own. You see PZD trying to disorient his opponent on the other side of this wall. GCR looking to bandit trick Church Wall as long as possible. That's a bad miss there for PZD, gonna work against him. Spawn still holding this angle makes this push so dangerous for Nip. Though Psycho is all the way in the sight, he will miss all of his shots despite having the advantage of smoke, and Pain will still hold on to this sight. The spray from Revolts will take out Wog. Excellent job to him, and Nipper's starting to fall apart here. Julia will get their very first kill, and a follow-up into Arsenal. The spray from GCR is wild but true, and Revolts will be even better as he takes down two opponents. It's all up to Julio, but the Firebolt is very well placed, and he will down one and finish him off. Revolts goes down. GCR still in play, having been picked up by his teammate. You can see that Julio wants this ace so bad he can taste it, but it's not going to be enough to taste it. He has to follow it through. And Spawns will say no. Pain take the round, and they're second in this match.
Unfortunately, that was Ninjas in Pyjamas' round to lose. They had time advantage. They had man advantage. Well, not man advantage, rather. I mean, they had operator advantage, and the choices that they made were very, you know, useful on the push they were trying to make. But you see Psycho losing that fight, for example, to start out with. That was really where the dominoes started to fall. I mean, outside of Julio's plays just managing to barely work out, nothing they were doing was working after that. I mean, the double play of the Bandit and the Maestro hanging out behind the bar, that was an interesting strategy because you don't usually see a double down like that, and that actually could have paid off for Julio had he been able to hit the fire at just the right spot to down both of them and take them out. But in the end, he didn't even have the diffuser. Didn't matter what happened with that gunfight against Spawns. They were just in a tough spot. And it's funny when they go from having such time advantage to not. You got to wonder what PZD was thinking with the way he was playing on that church wall. Not really accomplishing a whole lot. Maybe trying to do something with the Bandit, but really, as you said, more often backfiring on himself. We will see, instead of a double hard breacher with the Thermite and Havana, this time a Thermite and a Maverick, which does make sense for the upper floors. In this case, though, it's going to be Jim and not Cash, which I would say Cash makes a little bit more sense for, but at the same time, you can somewhat use it in a similar fashion in terms of the Maverick on the other side on the wall, so you don't have to worry about trying to use, say, a Thatcher or something like that to be able to try and deny. In this case, what would be the Mute Jammer should be fairly easy to take out, is it's going to be exactly between the two walls. You know exactly where it's at. You don't have to try and guess and open up a ton of holes. So should, in theory, be easy for Wag to get that wall open.
I'd say Maverick's going to be useful no matter which site he goes to on this map. You know, if you really look at the basement, he can solo his way into the construction of tunnel. On this site, he can open up that jacuzzi wall and do damage without you being able to notice because of how quiet he is.
Nice point about dirt, because there's very few spots where Maverick can pretty much burn a whole hole uncontested, and I would say that is one of them. You're rarely going to be contested doing that.
Yeah. And then finally, of course, there's Cash, which, you know, just denying the bandit trick on server wall alone saved you a lot of headache, because teams will attack all of Garage in order to deny that bandit trick, and you just don't. You can skip that step.
Yeah.
So here we go. Gym set up, and Nip are keen to open up the jacuzzi wall, of course, as that is the standard way of attacking the site currently.
The way they're using Kamikaze right now, though, is actually delaying a lot of their attack. Thankfully, he rotates around, but it was just he was spending a lot of time droning early, but at least they got good positioning. As I said, the Mute Jammer going to be in a very predictable position, makes this easier. Bandit might have been a little more effective, but nonetheless, wall gets open, and now a lot of time left for Nip to work with.
Yeah, truth be told, the Maverick probably should have been in a better position to just spawn and move to that jacuzzi wall earlier on.
He could drone after.
Yeah, drone after is a good way to put it. You have a job to do, you need to get it done. The Thermite was just waiting patiently, and that's some time wasted for Nip.
Almost no one can do anything to kill you in that position outside of some really risky plays.
So, time wasted, but they did get the job done, and now they're starting to drone out their opponents, see how the setup is, and what they're going to need to deal with. Psycho is all the way into bathroom. What is going on? Where are the anchors right now?
This after all.
This should be a very easy plant. The Firebolt will cut off rotation from construction. Now the main worry for Nip has to be the office, but they've got that covered because of the jacuzzi wall being opened up. Anybody sitting on jacuzzi balcony could get an easy kill there. Looks like a missed C4 from their opponents, and Nip are looking better and better as this round continues to play out. A double for Psycho! Absolutely insane, and FK1 will get the refrag, but the damage is done. Julio able to take FK and another onto GCR. PZD doing his job and cutting off that rotation. An excellent attack from Ninjas in Pyjamas, and a perplexing setup for Pain Gaming.
I mean, I gotta say, at least it took them a while to get the kill in the bedroom, but there was just nothing to stop them. And the quick flick around to get the shot on a logistics office as well from the Ash, just nicely played. In terms of taking control, like you said, getting in that bathroom that early, the Maverick play working out very well. I mean, yeah, it was a little bit lagged, but nonetheless, they still had plenty of time left to work with, and just no real contesting coming out from Pain, who are mostly stuck on the other side. Bar being brought out here seems like an act of desperation, or maybe cleverness if they could pull it off. But when you are on match point here, and at very best you can get 1 point, this is very risky to be bringing it out at this point. The Montaigne here, actually being the 6th pick, could have been reading right on into that first stock play.
So, yeah, that's actually kind of crazy that Nip have decided to bring Montaigne here. I don't know if it's them reading into it or the stars aligning.
Yeah.
So if you're wondering what we're talking about here, Montaigne is one of the best operators to have while attacking this site. And it's never been a great site to defend, but one of the tried and true strategies to attack it with is pushing Montaigne in through stock door.
Yeah.
And now Nip has that option.
The one thing that works against the attackers is the fact that Cash is a little bit harder to take now, just because of the ability to play. Yeah. But other than that, it's still a great way to execute. It's almost disappointing that Psycho is not on Glass to go with that, because the Glass-Monty combo is...
Oh boy.
Whew.
Well, to be fair, Psycho did have a great round last round playing as Ash.
I think he had a great round almost every round.
And when he was playing Glaz earlier, he was not doing well. So
True.
Sometimes you just have off days on one of your mainstays. So,
Very true.
You know, a little bit of rotation never hurt anybody, and it seems to be working well for Psycho now that he's playing on Ash.
And we are seeing actually our first Vigil of the day, so Revolts is going to have to make that really worthwhile to make this happen, because, I mean, yeah, there's plenty of ways you can roam on Clubhouse here now in the current situation. You do want to be roaming upstairs to be able to cover from above, but it's going to be pretty predictable. And, of course, the signal jam showing up on the drone is going to make it pretty obvious what you're very likely to be doing, because you're not really going to be hanging out in bars Vigil.
No, it's not an ideal scenario as an operator who prides himself on being a roamer. You want to be able to, be a roamer.
Yeah, he could be downstairs, I guess.
Yeah, being on the site's not really going to help your team too much. So, I mean, the main reason, honestly, the main reason you bring Vigil is just because this kid is so good. You got the gun, you got the impacts. It's such a valuable operator outside of his actual utility. Missed flashbang. Whoops. He's trying to clear out the ADSs, but he's going to hit his opponent. Not going to mean much in the long run, but Julio is well into B, and just now he's going to be confronted with the gas canisters from 9XT. Now, there was an opportunity there for Nip, and it was squandered. The smoke being allowed to rotate into stock is not going to be good for them. However, from above, EZD could easily get the kill onto the smoke if he positions himself correctly. He's not going to get the kill, not yet, but Kamikaze will. Great job to Kamikaze pushing his way over towards the front door. And Psycho will take out GCR. Psycho gets another onto Revolts before Kamikaze at the front door finally gets shut down by FK1. But look at this. FK being lit up by PZD. Spawn's able to do some damage at the very long range there. But from behind, you can see Psycho on a tear. PZD will get the final kill, and that's it. The game's over. GG 6-2. Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Slow start with 2 Rios, but a strong finish, 6-2, as you said. 2 rounds not even needing to be played. Unfortunately for Pain, that does put them more in danger of a possible relegation. Now, they thought maybe they were in an okay position being middle of the pack, but there isn't really much of a middle in Latin America at the moment. Now they're going to be the ones in Nip's position potentially.
If I'm not mistaken, Pain started the day at 15 points. And